Hello everybody and welcome back. Today we have just 3 stories. We got a family who found out that their dad, they've known their entire life, it's not their dad, it's not their father. And then we have a woman who her husband wants to have a baby with his ex. Oh man, you guys. Turns crazy. Crazy. And then our last one is a man who, despite his wife's very bitter feelings towards AI, uses AI to write his effing vows. She catches it at the fucking altar. At the freaking altar. Freaking idiot. Anyways, you guys, this episode is so good. It has ups, it has downs. I'm gonna be honest, it's a little sad, it's a little crazy. But without further ado, you guys, I'm gonna stop wasting your time. Don't forget, I have a shizload of videos over my Patreon. Check it out here, and goodbye. Let's go. 23andMe revealed my mom's 59 female 11-year affair, which drove my dad, 59 male, to his own life. This is going to be very long. Sorry about that. My parents were high school sweethearts. They started dating when they were both 16. They dated for about 4 years, and then my mom, 59 female, got pregnant with my oldest sister, 39 female. Then my dad, 59 male, did the right thing. He dropped out of college. He was on the path to medical school. It was his dream to become a doctor. Married mom and started working at a desk job at my grandpa, 80 male's company. My parents later had 3 other kids. My oldest sisters, 35 female, 33 female, and 30 female. My childhood was pretty normal. Dad worked, mom stayed at home, taking care of me and my sisters. Dad was always very present in our lives. I and my sisters were always daddy's girls. We were very attached to him. I was particularly close to him. We had a really deep bond. When I was 13, I was diagnosed with leukemia, and he never left my side. He held my hand during chemo sessions during the whole time. He consoled me when I had my first heartbreak and assured me that everything was going to be all right. He taught me how to drive. He walked me down the aisle 3 years ago when I married my husband and told me that was one of the happiest days of his life. I was always his favorite as well. My parents were happy. I never saw them fighting or anything like that. My dad took my mom on date nights at least twice a week. He spoiled her a lot, and they seemed really in love. My parents were the perfect couple. Everyone saw them as something flawless, an example of true love. My mom was my dad's only one, and dad was mom's only one. It was something that he was very proud of that was really special for him. I felt really bad when I lost my to my ex-boyfriend and realized that I couldn't ever have the same thing as my parents. My dad's mom died during birth, and grandpa raised him as a single parent. He never remarried or dated anyone after her death, as far as I know. Grandpa refused to talk about grandma. It was very painful for him. He never met anyone from grandma's side of the family, and grandpa didn't talk much about her. In June, I bought a 23andMe kit for me and my dad. I thought this would be cool to see if he had any relatives on grandma's side, and we did the test together. We did the test. I found out that I had 2 half-brothers and that we shared the same father. We were honestly confused. I and dad didn't understand that. We thought that this was a mistake. When we told mom about this, she froze. She started crying. We pressured her a bit more, and that's when she confessed about her 11-year-old affair with one of my dad's friends. He was our neighbor at a certain point of our lives, and he was in the same class as my dad and mom. I remember seeing him around when I was a kid. He was a close friend of the family. Dad was in denial. He thought that it was a mistake. I and my sisters ended up doing the test at a hospital. 3 days later, the results arrived. No one matched with Dad. He was not our father. For the first time in 30 years of my life, I saw my dad cry. Not a normal cry, sobbing like a kid. We tried to talk to him. He got up, grabbed his keys, and left. We tried to call mom like 100 times and he didn't answer. My mom was having a panic attack, so my oldest sister took her to the hospital. We didn't hear from dad for 3 whole days. We searched for him everywhere. Eventually, my grandpa found him at the family fishing cabin. He had himself. He didn't leave any notes or anything like that. In 9 days, I discovered that my mom had an 11-year affair, that my dad wasn't my biological father, and that he took his own life. It broke me. His funeral was another mess. My dad's side of the family got into a fight with my mom's side of the family. My grandpa and uncles ended up kicking my mom out of the funeral. It was a disaster. The first time I saw my grandpa crying as well. It was something I wish I hadn't seen. He entered a really deep depression after that. He barely speaks anymore. After the funeral, neither I or my sisters could look at my mom anymore. We just couldn't. I can't look my sisters in the eye as well, and I blame myself every day for suggesting that stupid fucking test. Thanksgiving this year was the first time we didn't celebrate as a family in 33 years. I can't look at my mother anymore. She spends her days staring at a wall. Her side of the family is pressuring me and my sisters to reestablish contact, but I just can't. My sisters are also not speaking to her since the funeral. I found out that I am pregnant last week. I and my husband have been trying for the last 2 years, and I'm not even happy. I feel hopeless. I feel broken. Sometimes I start to think about dad and my heart looks like it is going to explode. I fucking miss him so much. Has anyone been in a similar situation? How do I survive this fucking guilt? How the hell do I move past this? Any advice is really appreciated. Oh my God. That was one of the saddest things I've ever read. People think that I am extreme. Like, people in my life think I'm a little extreme about cheating because I have friends who stay with their loved ones, who stay with their significant other. After they've cheated, they make it work. And this is the kind of thing why I'm so stern about cheating. This is disgusting. Your mom is a disgrace. Personally, I don't think I could ever forgive my mother for this. And I can understand your dad doing what he did to an extent. I mean, he was still technically your dad for all of those years. He just wasn't the father. I can't imagine, because a lot of people, they believe their life goal, the point of life is to give life, to have children. And he found out that he never, ever had children because your mother is... I say this a lot, that people are pieces of shit, but this is literally one of the worst women I have heard about in my life. Women like this who lie about who the father is or knowingly deceive people like this. It's not just she probably knew. She might have not known, but the fact that there is a question because you're having an 11-year affair is diabolical. This is going to be a really mean thing to say, but I wish your mother had this thought instead of your dad. I'm not saying that people should ever in their life. They shouldn't. But she should feel bad for the rest of her life. I would not feel bad about her staring at the wall. I would not feel bad about her being in absolute turmoil emotionally. You've made this bed. You knew eventually this would come out, because secrets always come to light, you guys. They always come to light. Especially a secret like this, all it took was a test. People don't realize that cheating has consequences like this. And I will never agree with suicide, ever, you guys. Ever. I think it is one of the most cop-out things to do. I think you're kind of a pussy. I'm going to be honest, for lack of a better word. I wouldn't call it selfish. I wouldn't. And a lot of people think, oh, it's like the most selfish thing you could do. And it's not, because the way that I think about it is when somebody is clinically depressed, they're not thinking about you. They're not thinking about anybody else. They have this feeling in them that they think it'll never subside, and this is the only way out. That's why I think you're kind of a pussy. A lot of people are like, okay, well, you're heartless. My dad did it, okay? I kind of have a little leverage in this. I have a say in this. I have a foot in this race, okay? Obviously, this wasn't my situation. But I lost my father at a very young age. I didn't get to have him walk me down the aisle. At least you had that. And I think it's a really pussy ass move. I think he could have got past this. because he's still your dad. He's been your dad for all of these years. I could never understand this betrayal and this hurt. I really could never. So to say that I wouldn't do this, I don't know, maybe I would be a pussy in this situation. We're only human, you guys. Let's go to the comments. And you know what, you guys? I'm sorry for starting out this video so depressing, but here we are. Let's read the comments. Commenter, stories like this are exactly why infidelity is not a effing joke. I noticed you mentioned briefly how your mom reacted to the discovery of infidelity, but how did she react to this? Commenter, she's just upset she got caught. She probably could care less about your dad himself. I would suggest kicking her to the curb and not letting her in your life or in your child's life. She literally murdered your father. Hold on. Hold the effing phone. Time out. No. Absolutely not. Your mother's actions, like I said, are volatile. They're completely disgusting behavior. I've never even seen a betrayal this bad in my life. But to say that your father, no. Your dad has to control his own emotions. Yes, she contributed to him feeling like this. But at the end of the day, you are in control of your own emotions and your own feelings. Yes, you feel so clouded when something like this happens, but it's up to you as an adult to take a step back, take a breath, and not do something rash. Yes, she's a contributing factor, but at the end of the day, you control your own emotions, you guys. As cold as that sounds, it's just the way it is. Because if I were to have myself after finding my father, I wouldn't want anybody to blame my father, because at the end of the day, I am in control of my own emotions and mental health. Okay, I'm sorry. That may sound really fucking callous, but that's just the truth. Commenter, this seems extreme. I have no pity for a cheater. They disgust me like no other. That being said, I hardly think that she didn't care about the father himself. Well, yes, she is responsible for the aftermath, but the mental break likely stems from just that, realizing that her actions led to a good man taking his own life. She needs counseling just as much as OP does. Honestly, you guys, I don't really care what happens to OP's mom. I don't. I really don't. You made this freaking bed. Take accountability. I'm sorry. I have no pity because you have created this whole situation. And I know people are like, well, didn't you just say people are in control of your own emotions? Yes. None of this would have trickled down to the situation that is currently happening. I don't care if the mother is going through a lot, is all I'm saying. Hiding this for this long, making these children believe this is their father, making the father believe that this is his offspring, his children, he birthed these, or he created these, is disgusting and psychotic behavior. Sorry, pity's fucking out the door for me. No, I have none. Zero, zip, nada. Not a single thing. Commenter, excerpt, how do I survive this fucking guilt? I know a lot of people will tell you this, but none of this is your fault. Your mom cheated. None of you had any idea this was going on. The test you got was something that seemed fun at the time. Do not regret decisions if they made you happy in the moment. It uncovered something horrible, but that's not your fault. Another excerpt. How the hell do I move past this? You don't. Not completely. When you love someone, you will always carry them in your heart. Don't force yourself to get past this right now. Allow yourself to grieve. Ask your husband for support when you need it. Don't be scared to ask for help. Maybe talking to your sisters could help since you're all affected by this. Stick close to your loved ones because you need them more now than ever. Also, congratulations on the baby. You have been trying for years and now you finally have a little miracle growing inside of you. Maybe you feel so guilty that you don't allow yourself to be happy about this, but fuck that. You are having a baby. All you can do is remember how your father raised you and apply this to your future children. Don't forget about your father, but let his spirit live on in yourself and your children. As far as I'm concerned, your dad is your real father, and I'm sure he would wish you and your baby nothing but happiness. Carry on his memory and legacy. Seek shelter with loved ones and continue your therapy. Time might not heal this wound completely, but it will get easier to carry this load later on. I 1,000,000,000% agree with everything this person said. I will say, and I don't know if this is something that you're even considering, but I wouldn't, because I feel like a lot of people who are adopted or whatever, they want to find out who the real father is when somebody else raised them or adopted them. And I'm going to be honest, I don't understand it. You have their DNA, sure. But the person who was there is your father. They're the one you learn things from. They're the one that raised you. I don't know. I can't put myself in this person's shoes because I can't imagine how I'm feeling right now. Like if I found out that my father was actually not my father, I would fucking spiral. I really would. I don't know what I would do. My best advice is to remember how he raised you and know that he loved you. And this other guy might have known this whole time, so why include him in your family now? I'm not saying you're considering that, but yeah, I agree with everything this commenter said. This is really, really sad. OP, I hope you get therapy. I hope you can get past this. You will never forget. You won't. I mean, it just gets easier. When my father passed, it's just one of those things where I can talk about it and joke about it and it's kind of whatever, but you'll always think about it. Let's move on to something different. This is really sad. I'm sorry if I've started out this video a little depressing, but let's keep it going. My 33 female husband, 40 male, is considering conceiving a child with his ex. I'll preface with the fact that therapy is an absolute given already, so I will be seeking that out. But in the meantime, I need some advice to just process what to even say to a therapist when the time comes. Okay, so the title needs explanation because it is a complicated and nuanced emotional situation. Apologies in advance for rambling. I'm still trying to make sense of the entire situation while grieving and just trying to get the pertinent details out for advice. My husband and I have been happily married for 3 years now. My husband had a son from a previous relationship before we got together. I have been in my stepson's life since he was 2 years old. He turned 6 years old this year and got along very well. My stepson's bio mom, baby mama, and I have never been friends in any capacity, but have always been cordial, respectful of the rare times we interacted and never had any issues with one another. My husband and baby mama are similarly cordial, respectful, and communicative around their son's needs, but not really friends beyond that. We pretty much adhered to a parallel parenting style, and it worked fine. 4 weeks ago, my stepson tragically and very suddenly died from an infection. It had just been absolutely devastating for everyone. Baby mama is especially just wrecked. Her son was literally her entire life and purpose as a stay-at-home single mom. My grief cannot compare to the level I know she feels, and I do have compassion for that. My husband is, of course, also exceptionally distraught. I've been doing my best to be understanding in how they both need to grieve as parents. 2 days ago, my husband said he had something he needs to discuss with me. He explained that baby mama approached him with a request. She asked my husband to be her sperm donor for IUI IVF, as she desperately wants to be a mom again and wants to conceive a child with the same partner that her son had. He basically made it clear it is something he is willing, even wanting, to do, but knows he needs to understand how I feel about it. Well, I don't know how exactly to communicate what I feel about it at this point, but the feelings are not good ones. I told him I needed some time to process this. My husband and I have been trying to have a child of our own for the past few months, so this is even more personally difficult for me to take in. I think I already know that I am not okay with my husband having another child with his ex, but I'm thinking of suggesting we offer her financial support to seek out alternative fertility options that do not involve my husband's sperm, and quite honestly, do not involve 18 years of co-parenting. I'm actually not even sure what baby mama and husband are thinking regarding that in this scenario. Additionally, baby mama is 41 years old, so there is a high probability this whole situation would be a lot of money and time spent without any results. Overall, I think I'm just in shock here. I feel disrespected and angry, and I also understand it's not really just about me here, and that both of them are struggling to cope with this unimaginable grief. I would just appreciate some level advice from people outside this situation, specifically advice on how I should convey that I'm not on board with this without making it a point of contention. There's an edit there, so before we get into that, because I have a feeling that it kind of goes into the comments. What? I'm sorry. Okay, I understand. They lost a kid that they shared together. That chapter now is closed. Like, I'll be here for grief. I understand we both lost a child. No. Are they going to have sex? How are they going to do this? Is he going to turkey baste her? Is she going to turkey baste herself? This seems like it's a grief response. Like, oh, I can just get him back. I can just bring the kid back if we just have a baby together. Like, if we can recreate our child, I can have this kid back. That's not how this works. Every child has a different personality. And I feel like this is a trauma response. I can't, obviously, you guys, I can't predict the future, but to me, this seems like what's going to end up happening is she's going to compare this kid to the one that passed away. She thinks that this kid is going to replace her kid. And if this was my marriage, I'd say, okay, you know what? Here's the deal. If you guys really want to do this, because I can never understand this grief. If you guys really want to do this, maybe you guys try getting back together and I'll take a step back. Yes, you guys do this. Cool. You guys are both on board to do this because you're both grieving. And, of course, you're grieving as well, but not to the extent of the parents. So I would say, you know what? I'm taking a step back. If you guys want to do this, we're not going to be married anymore. Y'all do this. Because it seems like, and this is understandable, you guys having a kid, you and your husband, is taking a back seat to him having a baby with his ex-wife. No, this isn't going to work. I'm sorry. This is not okay. I get the train of thought, but it's not a logical train of thought. And, she is in her 40s. She's going to have complications. What if, God forbid, because she is older, she unfortunately passes away during childbirth? I mean, sure, you could take the baby in, but then what's to say that now your husband is fulfilled? And he's like, well, we don't need to have a baby. We have a baby right here. You know what I mean? And that is a selfish train of thought, you guys, okay? But also, it's kind of selfless to be like, I'm going to take a step back. Y'all do you. I'll be over here. Because chances are, unfortunately, her biological clock has been slowly ticking down given her age, which there's women in their 40s having babies now, but the chances are low of her actually conceiving and carrying to term. This would be a whole hell of a nah for me. Absolutely no. Not happening. If this is happening, gotta go. Okay? Gotta go. Let's read the edit. Edit. Thank you so much already for the responses. I feel like this is happening to someone else. It is such a shocking and emotional wave after wave. Very difficult to process and think totally rational. I honestly consider understanding and compassion to be personal strengths of mine. So I appreciate the replies acknowledging that I am not betraying that by being a firm no on facilitating the situation. I would just add that I am fortunate to be financially stably independent. And my husband and I had already set aside a fairly significant sum specifically for child support. So even had this specific scenario not arisen, I feel obligated to offer some, if not all of that to baby mama, since it was always intended to go to her and her son. Anyways, I will keep reading through replies. Thank you again. And at this point, plan to speak with my husband this evening about feeling it is inappropriate to consider this now and dealing with his grief first and foremost with professional help. So before we read the comments, let me just say this. Yes, you could help her financially by giving her the money. But to be fair, she's not really owed this money. You're not really obligated to help her with her fertility issues either, or her getting a sperm donor. In reality, okay, you guys, obviously not being a good person. If this was the facts, the only tie that this woman had with you and your husband is this child. This child has unfortunately gone away now. This money was intended to take care of the child. The child is gone. Technically, she is not owed this money. I'm sorry. She's not. If you are a good person, sure, in good faith, give it to her. I probably would be like, okay, you know what? I get it. You're grieving. Here's some money. Here's the money I was going to give you for the child. But you have no obligation to help her conceive another child. You don't. It's just the way it is. I'm going to sound like such a fucking asshole in this episode. I'm sorry. But I'm looking at this factually, not emotionally. Okay, you guys? Okay. Commenter. Yes, this is a big no. There are so many emotions here. And during times of grief, they may not be thinking rationally. That's kind of what I said. But having another child to replace one you lost is not the answer here. I think the first step is couples counseling with your husband, and where you state that you aren't comfortable with him fathering a child with another woman while you are undergoing your own journey together. Best leave the bit about age viability out and that you think it would impact your marriage. Then the intricacies of co-parenting said child would also make you uncomfortable. It's terrible that you are all going through this, and I hope you can heal in a healthy way. I agree. Commenter, baby mama is trying to have another son just 4 weeks after her son died. That sounds like she's simply trying to bury her grief by replacing her dead son. That is not healthy, and your husband cannot enable her. If he is going to do anything for her, it should be to help her find a grief counseling. Yes, and he's probably grieving just as much and is like, you know what? Yes, this will fix it. This will fix it. We just gotta have another baby together. Just have another baby. This will go away. It's not the case. It's not how things work. And I know when you are grieving, you make very rash decisions. So bad idea. Pump the brakes. Pump the effing brakes. But you guys, there's an update. So let's get into it. Update. This is the next day. Thank you again to the blunt takes on my situation. Days are still mostly a blur right now, and writing out my issue and reading through the straightforward advice did help ground me a bit. I went ahead and took action on something I could control. Reached out to my therapist and got a reference for a couples counselor who is specifically experienced in dealing with grief around child loss. I was thankfully able to fit us in for an appointment this week. After I returned home from work last night, my husband came into our room and immediately started sobbing and apologizing. He had spoken with his dad that day and told him what baby mama had proposed. My father-in-law, bless him, had apparently really went off on the delusion of it. My husband and I had a long into the early morning talk about it, and he was able to recognize and explain that what seemed like interest in baby mama's request was misplaced desires. He explained that he's been so focused and excited about the prospect of planning for a child with me for the last 4 months, envisioning life as a father of 2, and it felt confusing to still be feeling that while dealing with the devastation of losing his son. Baby mama's ask was a total shock for him too, and when you're face to face with someone grieving so deeply, asking for your help a solution, however absurd it is, it's not always as easy to think logically. He was receptive and seemed relieved to have the therapy appointment, so I am hopeful that will be a start in unpacking this complicated and conflicting feelings. We agreed that he should ultimately end all contact with baby mama, but we'll still consider what sort of short-term lump sum financial support makes sense with consult from a lawyer to keep it entirely copacetic. I realize some commenters find the financial part odd, but I just feel strongly about extending appropriate generosity in this transition since we have the means to do so. We also agreed to hold off on any child planning until significant time and counseling takes place. Also, I just want to address the comments on stay-at-home single mom aspect in defense of baby mama. I only mentioned that part to say how entirely devoted she was to her son. She was the primary physical caregiver, and yes, the child support order was enough that it allowed her the option to stay home full-time and live comfortably but not extravagantly. It is the same decision I would make as a career-minded person. No, but that was her prerogative, and I do respect that. I really don't know much about baby mama as a person, but what I do know is that she raised a kind, funny, and smart boy who was loved and cared for, and that was what ultimately mattered. To say there's a lot still up in the air emotionally is an understatement. My husband and I are saying the right things to each other now. Who knows what it will end up being in practice? But I am hopeful at this point that my husband and I will be able to move forward together. You guys, there's another update. And we're going to get to it. This is a great turn of events, I will say. And I don't know why people are being mean about her being a stay-at-home mom. I'm going to be honest. I'm going to be completely honest. As much as I am a workhorse, a busy bee, I would want to be a stay-at-home mom when I have a child. Because I don't want my child in daycare. I also probably, even though these kids turn out really fucking weird, I probably homeschool my kid too. Just because, and I'm sure a lot of parents have said this even when I was a kid. Everything's just so dangerous and scary now, especially with daycare. You really have to vet these daycares, you guys. I hear stuff on the news all the time and it's so devastating about these workers. Literally these kids. It's insane. You guys, this is a really depressing episode. I'm so sorry. These are really good stories, though. They're very interesting. I'm like excited to hear this update, you know? This just isn't a goofy doofy episode. Update number 2. 4 months later. I received many very kind, compassionate, helpful comments and PMs from my original post and thought it would be easiest to update here for those that ask because it's a wild development. I think you can see the previous post on my account in the comments as they were removed for low karma on this account. So I found out that my husband did not tell me the truth about baby mama's request. The truth being that he and baby mama had frozen embryos when they were together from years ago and she was planning to use those. I obviously had no idea they had done this and likely would have never known if not for the fact that baby mama did have a successful implantation and is now in her first trimester. So my husband was forced to come clean. The distress I feel about everything that has happened in the past 4 months is beyond words. So that's it. That's the update. I don't know what to do regarding so many things about this. At least I have a good therapist. What? What? Oh my God. Oh my God. The turn of events are turning. The tables have turned. Bye. I'm sorry. Gotta go. Gotta go. I gotta go. Bye. That's insane. That's absolutely insane. I'm sorry, but this would make me spiral, you guys. Let me explain. We put our baby on hold, right? We put our baby on hold. Thank God, because gotta go. So he said yes to her. She went and got that baby implanted with the money that you gave her for her deceased child. See, this is a betrayal. This is just as bad as cheating on me. You lied to me. You only came clean because there's no way around it. Fuck this dude. No, I'm sorry. No, I'm not going to stay with this guy. I don't care how much therapy I have. You know what? Go raise this child with this woman. This is disgusting. Oh my God. Honestly, I'm going to be completely frank here. Why the fuck did she not ask you if this is okay? You are the wife. This is your husband. This is a group decision. This is both of you. This is not like a, hey, can I have your baby? Like, hey, I'm married. You need to get a yes from my wife as well. What? He might as well fucked her. He might as well went and inseminated her himself. Absolute degenerate behavior. I have to go. Sorry, this marriage is over. You have started a brand new family with your past. I'm sorry. No. What's wrong with people, you guys? Insane. Absolutely wild. So, he agreed to let her use the frozen embryos without your knowledge and is only letting you know now that the implantation is successful. I can't even imagine how you're feeling right now, but what about you? Were you guys still actively trying for a baby? OP responded, yes, I'm now questioning a lot about what he relayed to me regarding his past and general communication with baby mama. It seems like they maybe always had some kind of understanding that she could utilize the embryos when she wanted, regardless of my stepson's passing. I even think that weirdly she thought I was aware of this or something. But yeah, we stopped trying after my stepson's passing. Of course, I can't imagine also being pregnant at this time, so I know that's for the best. But yeah, I honestly feel really embarrassed to be involved in this, like some kind of third wheel. I'm mad and I'm really, really sad, and sad for their future child. I agree. What a fucking loser. Oh my God. Commenter. Oh my gosh, I'm really sorry to hear that. I was hoping it was done without his knowledge. I understand that baby mama and your partner are grieving, but this is a big lifetime decision and that your partner excluded you on. You went into the relationship knowing about your stepson, and that was your choice to accept that. But in this situation, it seems that you have been refused that. What does this decision mean for you and your husband? What does he even have to say? OP responded, he just said he didn't expect to meet someone like me and didn't want to lose me, so he basically compartmentalized things and hoped for the best. It's all kind of feelings like variations of lies now, though. I wish more than anything that all of this could have come to light without my stepson's passing being the catalyst. No one is anywhere close to accepting the grief of that at this point. I plan to let my husband and baby mama move on without me, though. Yes. That's how it should be. Don't ever be a third wheel. Commenter, how did he think he was going to get away with this? I get that your husband and his ex are grieving, but that is basically a screw you to your marriage. He lied to you. Is he now going to go all the antenatal classes, attend the births, and have 50% custody? You signed up for it the first time around. This is an entirely different scenario. Has he now decided to put starting your own family on the back burner because he can't cope with 2 babies at once? I'm so indignant on your behalf and honestly thought you had it sorted out at your first update. The only way I think you could salvage your relationship at this point is if he signs his rights away as a sperm donor and is not on the baby's birth certificate. OP responded, I'm mortified at how hopeful my previous posts read. I feel quite set on filing for divorce as soon as I can get myself out of bed. I am not fit to be a stepmom or a wife anymore. Commenter, OP, I hate to say this, but I don't feel that this is the truth. The timeline is super tight for everything she'd have to do for transfer. Plus, I don't think it would be ethical for a doctor to implant so soon after the death of their child without clearance from a psychologist. Doctors don't give a fuck. What are you talking about? Give me that money. Give me that money. I don't care what's going on. There's a chance they ended up sleeping together during their grief and she conceived then. The embryos would just make a more convenient excuse and he would probably see that as less of a betrayal. I'm so sorry you're going through this. This isn't what you signed on for when you got married. If you stay, his betrayal, even if it's just the secrets and lies, will always be right in your face. I hope for your sake and your mental health, you remove yourself from the situation. That poor child is always going to be in the shadow of the one that died because their parents didn't heal properly before conceiving them. Good luck, OP. Many healing vibes sent your way. Heart. Yeah, bringing a kid in while you're grieving and trying to replace them is not healthy. And I know that is probably going to have a lot of hate. It's the easy thing to do. And people think that helps. And I agree. I think he probably did canoodle with her. They probably were crying over the kid. Things got hot. The chemistry started flowing again. And he's like, I'm going to stick it in. Fuck both of these people. I'm so glad you're filing for divorce. You deserve better. You never, ever deserve to be in a situation like this. Anyone, ever. You never need to be a third wheel in your own life, in your own marriage. Jesus Christ. Man, let's keep it going. 35 male, was caught using AI to write wedding vows and partner, 34 female, walked out. What to do? 35 male, recently had a wedding with my partner, 34 female. We've had a stable and happy relationship so far, and I love her more than anything in the world. The problem arose when it came to writing vows. Don't get me wrong, I love many things about my partner, but I couldn't figure out how to put them into tangible vows. I decided to use ChatGPT so I can write something well written and expressive to share at the ceremony. The thing about my partner is she's very confrontational and no nonsense. If something annoys her, she immediately addresses it with no room for backing out. I also know that she's expressed disdain in AI in the past, but I didn't realize how far the hatred could go. I don't know how, but she immediately recognized that the vows were AI. After I had finished, she had this angry look and whispers to me, "Did you use fucking AI to write that?" I was quiet because I couldn't believe she had noticed that, and she was choosing to address it while we were on full display for everyone. She then said that I either speak from the heart or she walks out. I literally couldn't get any words out, and she kept her promise and walked back down the aisle, much to all of her friends and family's confusion. She's been ghosting me for the past few days, which is atypical for her, and honestly giving me panic attacks. Most people agree that calling off a marriage because of AI vows was an overreaction, and that maybe it was a sign that our relationship had issues. But a few female friends have said that they would have done the same. I'm hurt and honestly just needed to help make the day more special. Is it worth fixing? Okay. I know that there's this hatred towards AI because the inflation of water use is ridiculous. It doesn't use nearly as much as people are claiming. Here's the thing. A lot of people do not know how to write things good. You know what I mean? I would not say to do this. I'll be completely honest with you guys. Let me be fair. I don't think that you should use AI to write your vows. But if you have a general idea, you write down all the bullet points and you're like, can you just make this sound better? You're like, I love this about her, this, and you have it write vows for you. I don't really see that being that bad. Let's see the vows though, my guy. Let's see them. Because if it was very apparently AI, that's kind of bad. Because AI is supposed to be a tool. I mean, maybe not. I don't know. This is the way I see it. This is the way that I think people should use it, I guess. Is like, say you give it the ideas of what you want it to say. It spits something out, and then it kind of gives you like a general idea of how you could propose the vows. So then you piggyback off that and you write your own vows entirely. It's not supposed to be a put it in done type thing. It's not the kind of tool AI is. I mean, for some people, it 100% is. Okay, here, take it. But you can tell when people do that and they put zero effort into it. And I'm sure it seemed like there was zero effort in this. So let's see the vows. Let's see the vows. If they are in the comments, I'm going to be very upset, you guys. I hope they're in the comments. But to walk out on the wedding, I mean, I get she was hurt, but that seems a little dramatic. You guys know, unfortunately, I was married before. Okay. Believe it or not, I used to be one of the shyest people on the mother effing planet. Like, my anxiety in front of people was astronomical. I remember in college, I was doing a presentation on postcards. All of them fell. And I was already freaking out, you guys, internally. I don't remember a fucking thing I said. I don't remember anything about it. It was an English presentation. It was like 20% of my grade. And we had to talk for 20 minutes. And I literally was like, I'm going to have to do this another day because I'm about to pass the fuck out. And when you are at your wedding, I mean, I don't think this would be the case now because I would literally, I'll talk shit to my CEO. If they're coming at me hot, okay, and they are wrong, I will talk shit to the president. I don't care. Okay. I give respect. Okay. I am very, very respectable until I'm not. What I'm saying by explaining that is when I was actually up there, it was the most awkward moment of my life. I was terrified, full of anxiety. If there wasn't that man feeding me lines, I couldn't have done it. I couldn't have. And so my heart kind of goes out to him that he was speechless. He didn't know what to say. Because one, he was already embarrassed. And I don't know how he is. He could have been full of anxiety and was like choked up and couldn't think of anything. Got brain fog. Like there's so many things. And to walk out and be like, fuck this. That's a little extreme. Okay. I'm sorry. It is. I think they're both kind of wrong. Commenter. I'm skeptical. Most people told you this is an overreaction. Let's see the vows. That's what I'm saying. That's what I want to say to vows. Commenter, in vain I have struggled. It will not do. My feelings will not be repressed. You must allow me to tell you how admirably I admire and love you. In declaring myself this, I'm fully aware that I will be going expressly against the wishes of my family, my friends, and I hardly need add my own better judgment. Is that supposed to be I guess that's supposed to be a representation of the, house. Yeah, I would be pissed about this. I'm going to be honest. Commenter, excerpt. A few female friends said they would have done the same. So most people, his misogynist guy friends that are always on the side of the male feelings because female feelings are overreactions. Her being sad at the vows. His real sads over being dumped. Checks out. I think they're both wrong. I mean, I think she has a right to be upset because I would be upset too. I don't know if I would call off the marriage for it. I don't know. I would feel very hurt that he couldn't think of anything to say to me. Even if it sounded bad, it sounded cringy. He couldn't put it into his own words. But at the same time, some people just really can't write their emotions on paper. It's a catch-22 for me. Let's read this comment because It has 2K views, awards, a whole bunch of shit. Okay, ready, let's go. I don't know why so many men, sometimes women too, but it's usually men, have this belief in the back of their heads that they have this overruling right with their female partner, where they can just ignore or dismiss whatever she wants or prefers, as long as he thinks he's got a better idea. Like she's a child and he's the parent who knows better. Every day on these advice subs, dudes come in here like, she wanted me to buy her the specific type of bread, but this kind was cheaper, so I bought that instead. Why is she mad? She didn't want me to touch her puzzle boxes because she was afraid our kid would lose some pieces, but I thought it would be okay, so I gave him the puzzle. Now some pieces are lost. How do I make her see it's just a stupid puzzle? She has this precise memento from her childhood that I think is weird, and I couldn't take it anymore, so I threw it in the garbage. How do I get her to see it was the right thing? She wanted to buy a very specific dress for her wedding, but I see what I think is a similar dress on Temu for $30, and refused to buy any but that one instead. How can I show her she's being irrational and that I'm saving her money? And now we have you. She told me explicitly multiple times that she hates AI, but I felt like it wasn't a big deal and that I needed it. So I used it anyway for my wedding vows. How can I show her she's overreacting? That's a really good point, you guys. Oh, it's such a good point. Okay, maybe I take it all back. Anyways, let's continue this comment. You don't, because she's not overreacting. You disrespected her majorly. You are not the victim here. You knew damn well what her reaction to you using AI would be and did it anyways, because again, you thought you knew better, that she wouldn't find out anyway. Again, like she's a stupid child and you're her parent replacing her dead goldfish before she gets home from school. She deserves better than to marry a man who thinks of her that way. She didn't want something that sounded perfect. She wanted something that sounded like you. Stuff like this is precisely why so many people are critical of AI in the first place. It causes people like you to turn human emotional connection into a chore that can be streamlined and replaced by a machine. That's not normal. It's emotional and spiritually sick, and you need to self-reflect on how you got to this point. I agree, you guys. Oh my God, I agree. God bless it. God bless it, okay? Okay? He's wrong across the board. I'm sorry. I didn't think about it from that point of view. It's very true. Anyways. All right, everybody. Thank you again so much for watching and staying to the end. Don't forget, like, subscribe, comment, whatever you want to do. It's up to you. Also, if you want to be included in these executive producers at the end of my videos, make sure to check out my Patreon. Sign up. Your name will be there next. Goodbye.